This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Well, you got me so upset with the way your skin moves that dress. Burn a picture in my head, smoke it when I need to forget. How could I keep this composure? Hit like a boulder. How could I get out of here before I say it? I say it. I swear I could fall in love just sipping on this vision of you leaving. I swear.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know that, but we have to talk about it anyways. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. So anyways, we are broadcasting on this lovely Whippam Out Wednesday, which is also known as May the 13th, from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yep, infiltration and Radio Big is kind of the way that we go about doing our thing. No doubt about that. That is for sure. So anyways, how's the last 24 hours or so been for you? Hopefully you've been having a grandioso time. Grandioso time. That's kind of how it goes in regards to some of the stuff that is happening. So with that being said, let's talk real quick. Let's talk about what the hell we do here. We talk about safety in the news, news and safety. That's just kind of how we go about doing our thing. There is definitely not a doubt about that on how this is actually handled. So with that being said, here's what's going to happen today. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. It is Whippam Out Wednesday, so we do tend to get a lot of pictures today, which is always a good time. Don't get me the wrong way in regard to that. So here's what's going to happen. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com, video, audio, and text messaging. Video, audio, and text messaging. Can I say that one more time? Video, audio, and text messaging are the options once you get there. Listen, people go, well, why don't you just have a straight call-in line? Because we're digital, baby. That's the way that it goes. So we just kind of go directly into there and then kind of move around and do our fun stuff. So no doubt about that. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and then we move forward. That's the whole kit and caboodle. That's what we're doing. We are trying to make sure that we can be as efficient as possible. So let's just kind of go through some of this stuff because I want to make sure that we're clear here. We talk about all of the stuff that we talk about. We'll bring you a level of a main story, but also at the same time, with everything going on, we do have some
professional broadcasters
that come in and they start talking about what the hell's going on, and then we move forward. And that is it. I mean, that is legitimately it. This is the thing of the things of everything that we have going on. So if you're good to go, I'm good to go. I will bring in my friends from Feature Story News right now, have them come in, do their thing, give you the news, and then we'll just move forward and go on with life. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now? And why don't I just tell you, here is the news. I mean, no, like seriously, here is the news. Let's just go ahead and do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. US President Donald Trump is travelling to China for talks with Xi Jinping, which will be centred on the Iran conflict, trade and artificial intelligence. President Trump has promised that great things will happen for both countries during his visit. Nick Harper has more from Washington.
The US president is hoping to do deals with China, getting them to buy more agricultural products and US energy. And he's floated the idea of creating a joint venture, a board of trade, to keep dialogue going between the US and China beyond this summit. But the topic of Iran will be in the background as an ever-present worry for both sides. Ahead of the trip, the US has imposed sanctions on 12 entities and individuals accused of selling Iranian oil to China. And the US warns it could crack down on other Chinese companies as part of its attempts to cut off revenue streams for Tehran.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to the Middle East and Europe this week in what's being seen as his most high-profile diplomatic trip of the year. He is expected to boost energy ties with the UAE and bolster trade ties with Nordic countries during the 5-day trip. Ishan Garg has more from New Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will make a pit stop in the UAE on Friday with eyes on securing long-term energy supplies. It comes amid India's crude oil supply crunch due to the Iran conflict, but analysts say with UAE no longer part of the OPEC, New Delhi could secure cheaper and reliable supply from the Middle Eastern nation. In the Netherlands, critical minerals and semiconductors could be at the top of the agenda, which will be followed by the India-Nordic summit in Oslo. New Delhi is hoping to galvanize trade ties with Nordic nations as it looks to reduce its trade dependence on China and the United States.
Sam Altman has taken the stand as part of a lawsuit brought by Elon Musk over OpenAI's shift towards a for-profit structure. The OpenAI CEO rejected Musk's claims that the ChatGPT developer abandoned its founding mission, arguing instead that Musk himself pushed for greater control of the company that the two men founded together.
Sam Altman testified Tuesday that Elon Musk supported plans for a for-profit structure at OpenAI before leaving the company in 2018. Altman told a federal court in Oakland that Musk had at one point sought a 90% stake in OpenAI and repeatedly pushed for majority control. Musk is now suing OpenAI, Altman, and others, claiming the company abandoned its founding mission to benefit humanity after taking tens of billions of dollars in outside investment. Musk is seeking about $150 billion in damages to be paid to the OpenAI nonprofit, as well as the removal of Altman and another co-founder. The outcome of the trial could complicate the AI company's plans for an IPO. Ira Spitzer, San Francisco.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. If you're like me, members of your family may have asked you whether they should be worried about hantavirus, the Andes strain of which has already killed several people after an outbreak aboard the cruise ship the MV Hondius off the coast of Cape Verde. The World Health Organization says we are not witnessing the beginning of a new COVID-style pandemic, even as people are being monitored for symptoms in almost 24 separate countries. Professor Mark Fielder, a medical microbiologist at Kingston University in the UK, says the Andes strain of hantavirus spreads far less easily than COVID.
Asymptomatic patients are not infectious. It's very different to COVID in that regard. And when they are under isolation at home, they are within their four walls at home. And you can't catch this virus just by passing it. Although the Andes virus does pass from human to human, it does so in a very ineffective manner. So you have to be in very close contact for prolonged periods of time for the remotest chance. So if you're living next door to someone, it won't be a problem.
Despite concerns about passengers leaving hospital isolation early, he says strict monitoring will be in place. Investigators are still working to identify how passengers aboard the Hondius contracted the virus, with one theory now pointing to a bird-watching excursion near a waste site before the cruise departed. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. US President Donald Trump is headed to China for talks with Xi Jinping centered on the Iran conflict, trade and artificial intelligence. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to the Middle East and Europe to boost energy ties with the UAE and bolster trade ties with Nordic countries. Sam Altman has taken the stand as part of a lawsuit brought by Elon Musk over OpenAI's shift towards a for-profit structure. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open-source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, some self-implosion and airwaves always sounds like an interesting mix of things as we are talking, no doubt about that. So what do you think about the whole thing? I'm just asking for a friend. Or maybe I'm not your friend, or maybe I am. I don't know. Let's continue talking. Anyways, yesterday's a reporter asked President Trump about the financial impact of the Iran war on Americans. Here's what he had to say.
Did you say earlier that the only thing that matters to you when it comes to Iran is a nuclear weapon? You're not considering the financial impact of this war on Americans?
The most important thing by far, including whether our stock market, which by the way is at an all-time high, but including whether or not our stock market goes up or down a little bit, the most important thing by far is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
What about the pressure on Americans and prices right now?
Every American understands.
Americans, how they're feeling about
every American. Are you listening to me? Every American understands.
Okay, so what do you think? I'm giving you source material. That's what it boils down to. So what do you think? Does every American currently understand? It is a question. He made the reference. We are talking about it. I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. I'm asking your question or asking you a question on what you think. Does it make sense? Just asking. I would say I am asking for a friend. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Matt Lauer was fired from NBC Today's Show on November 29th of 2017 following detailed complaints of an inappropriate sexual behavior in a workplace from a colleague. NBC executives determined the behavior violated, company standards and found evidence that it was not an isolated incident, and the paparazzo just caught up with Matt Lauer and asked him if he would be returning to media business. Here's what he had to say.
Hey, Matt, you have any comment on you eventually wanted to get back into the media business?
My comment is I am really happy.
You are?
I'm doing.
All right.
I couldn't be happier.
All right, I'll take that as a no.
And by the way, thanks for just walking across the street and not jumping out from between cars and everything.
All right.
I respect that.
Okay, so there you go. Doesn't sound like he's going back to the media business whatsoever. What is that show on Apple TV? Is it called Morning Show? The Morning Show? Why is it that there was oh my God, why can't I think of the guy that plays Michael Scott? I can't think of his name all of a sudden. So there was that show, and a lot of people thought that show was loosely based, at least the first season, or the first two seasons, on Matt Lauer. So what an interesting time. I don't know. It's kind of gets interesting when you start making news stories about newscasters. I know. What an interesting time. So there you go. What else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about an odd story that we got here. An 18-year-old from Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, is making the rest of America's teenagers look wildly unproductive. James Chalagras just graduated from high school honors from Loyola University in New Orleans College of Law, and is described as the youngest law school graduate in Louisiana history, and one of the youngest in the world. The guy has basically been speed running education since childhood. He finished high school at the age of 12, earned both a bachelor's and a master's degree in accounting by the age of 15 from Western Governors University, became one of the youngest certified public accountants ever, and then crushed the LSAT with 174 out of 180. At Loyola, he finished near the top in his class, earned the highest grade in a huge chunk of his courses, handled immigration law cases, and completed 5 legal concentrations, something that school says nobody here had ever done before. Oh, and while most 18-year-olds are figuring out dorm laundry instructions, James is heading to Chicago next for a master's degree in taxation in Northwestern University. Meanwhile, the average 18-year-old is still arguing with customer service because DoorDash forgot about ranch dressing. So imagine getting legally destroyed in court by someone who still gets carded for a PG-13 movie. I mean, that's kind of a weird one when it's all said and done. So it's still talking about some weird stories. Let's talk about this one real quick. Duh. A massive $78 million Lotto Texas jackpot was finally claimed just 6 days before the winning ticket would expire, ending months of speculation over whether somebody accidentally left the generational wealth in a junk drawer. The winning ticket matched all 6 numbers from November the 15th of 2025 drawing, and was sold in Gordon Bates and Tackle in Bronzeville, Texas. The prize was officially claimed on May the 8th by a South Dakota-based entity called Jua Re Trust Agreement Trident Trust Company Incorporated. Instead of taking the full annuity payout, the winner chose the lump sum cash worth about $43.7 million before taxes, which means after taxes and fees, probably 3 cousins suddenly needing business loans, the winner should still be doing fine. Under Texas lottery rules, the winner has 180 days to claim the prize. If nobody steps forward in time, the money gets redirected to the state programs. Lottery officials had publicly warned players in recent weeks that if the deadline was approaching, which probably triggered half of Texas to start digging through their glove compartments and kitchen junk drawers. The jackpot originally started at $5 million and rolled over 116 consecutive drawings before somebody finally hit all 6 numbers at $78 million. It became the 6th largest Lotto Texas jackpot ever. So it definitely makes it some interesting times as we are talking. What do you think here? I'm just asking to ask because I definitely would like to know. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 more stories before we get into some more serious stuff. But take a listen to this one real quick. A controversial live streamer known as Online Chud the Builder was arrested on Friday night in Nashville after allegedly causing a scene in an upscale stakeout, refusing to stop filming and walking out of a nearly $400 bill. The influencer's real name is Dalton Etherly, was doing the Bob Chop House when restaurant staff repeatedly asked him to stop live streaming because it was disturbing other customers. According to police documents, earlier allegedly responded by yelling racial slurs, creating disturbance, and announcing that he won't pay for the food and drinks that he had already consumed. Police say that he resisted officers during the arrest and was later booked on charges including theft of services, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. He was reportedly held on a $5,000 bond, which has built an online following through a confrontational rage bait videos where he harasses strangers in public and often using racist language to provoke reactions were clicks in live stream views. Videos circulating online reportedly show him yelling slurs at pedestrians, making racist taunts, and antagonizing people in Nashville nightlife areas for weeks. After being released earlier, went right back online, posting his version of the events, continuing the same inflammatory behavior that made him notorious in the first place. So there you go. Yeah. This makes no sense whatsoever to do, but whatever. If that's kind of what makes you happy, what do you mean go fuck yourself?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start talking about some other things. Unity has unveiled what it claims to be the world's first production-ready transformable Mech, basically a real-life sci-fi robot that suit people that can actually climb into and operate. The new machine, called the GD-01, stands about 9 feet tall, weighs roughly 1,100 pounds, with a human inside, and can stand between 2 legs and 4-leg movement modes when you push the button. In a viral demo video, Unitree CEO was shown climbing into the cockpit and using the Mech to move around and smash through the walls like somebody's living out a childhood fantasy with venture capital funding. The GD-01 is being marketed as the first manned mecha designed for mass production, though mass production may be relatively considered that the price of the unit at $650,000. The company says is working on a lower cost over time, but right now the customer base is basically rich robotic nerds and possibly Batman. The reveal sparked a huge excitement online, especially among fans of giant robot franchise like Gundam and Pacific Rim. But some people also point out the practical concerns, including battery life, mobility, and the possibility of getting stuck trying to climb out of the giant robot inside of a parking garage. So there you go. Yeah, not a lot of 9-foot parking garages where you could probably walk the thing down. I'm just saying, there's something to think about, that's for sure, as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this one. We talked about this about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, but eBay officially slammed the brakes on the takeover attempt of GameStop, rejecting the company's proposed $55.5 billion buyout offer, calling it neither credible nor attractive. In a sharply worded letter, eBay's chairman Paul Plessler said that the company carefully reviewed the proposal and concluded it simply didn't make sense. eBay cited concerns about the GameStop's financial plan and operational risks, debt load, and leadership structure, and whether the merger would actually help long-term growth. Translation, thanks, but absolutely not. The unsolicited offer came after GameStop quietly acquired a 5% stake in eBay earlier this month. GameStop proposed paying $125 per share, half cash and half stock, which represented a 46% premium over eBay's earlier stock price. GameStop CEO argued that eBay is underperforming and claimed that GameStop could help mobilize the business. Cohen pitched GameStop's 1,600 retail locations as potential hubs for eBay services like authentication, fulfillment, and live commerce operations, but analysts weren't buying it. Several financial experts said that eBay's rejection was completely expected, with one analyst describing the bid as a lopsided marriage proposal. Critics also question how GameStop would realistically finance the deal if this massive, especially with concerns about adding enormous debt to a combined company. Let's talk about that for a moment. Aren't most marriage propositions very lopsided anyways? I'm just saying, somebody's getting a better end of the stick. That's just kind of the way that it normally goes. I know that definitely happened to me. I'm not going to lie here about it. That's for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things. Authorities say that a man who entered an active runway in Denver International Airport last week and was hit by a departing Frontier Airlines jet has been identified as 41-year-old Michael Mott. Investigators now believe the incident was a suicide. According to officials, Mott climbed an 8-foot barbed wire fence late Friday night and made the way onto the runway just minutes before the Airbus A321 was taking off for Los Angeles around 11:19 p.m. Authorities say that he was pulled into the plane's engines as the aircraft accelerated for departure. Airport surveillance video reportedly showed the person moving into the runway moments before the plane passed through the frame and one of the engines burst into flames. Airport officials said that alarms had gone off, but it was briefly difficult to track because security cameras was also monitoring a herd of deer near the runway. Denver Airport CEO Phil Washington said that Mott moved from the fence to the runway in roughly 2 minutes, leaving little time for the airport's crew or law enforcement to react. The medical examiner's officials ruled the death a suicide. Officials also said no suicide note or vehicle connected to Mott has been located so far. So there you go. There you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. So what do you think? Okay, some other news for you real quick before we get too far away in regards of everything that is going on. Tiger Woods facing another development in his DUI case after a Florida judge approved prosecutors' request to obtain his prescription drug records from Palm Beach Pharmacy. While the records will become part of the case, they won't be made public thanks to the protective order agreed upon both sides. The judge sided with the prosecutors over the objection from Woods' attorneys who argued that the golfer had constitutional rights to keep his medical information private under the ruling. The prosecutors, law enforcement, experts, witnesses, and Wood's defense team will have access to the records. Investigators are reportedly looking into how often Woods filled prescriptions between January the 1st and March the 27th, along with dosage amount, pill counts, and whether any warnings about driving were included with the medication. Because the case involves prescription drugs rather than alcohol, legal experts say prosecutors are trying to establish impairment without relying on standard blood alcohol level. Woods had pleaded not guilty to a misdemeanor DUI, refusal to submit to a lawful test, and distracted driving after SUV rolled over near his Florida home in March. Police said that he appeared impaired at the scene and reportedly found hydrocodone pills in his pocket. So what do you think? I mean, it's definitely an interesting time for him, no doubt about that one. But I just don't know where this is essentially going to go. I know that he's had a couple issues already in this particular regards, and I'm talking about in regards of the car accidents. This is number 3, if I remember correctly, at least from a public case type of scenario, not talking about anything else that might have happened before. I'm just talking about what has been known publicly. I mean, hopefully the guy is able to get some help if that's what he's looking for in that particular regard. So let's continue with that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do around here. An Alabama woman is accused of shooting and killing her husband because, according to the investigator, he was irritating her after recovering from heart surgery. Police say that a 65-year-old Sherry Mitchell Klutz called 911 herself on Sunday and admitted that she had shot her husband, 69-year-old Timothy Klutz, inside of their home in Alabama. Deputies found Timothy dead on his recliner from a single gunshot wound to the chest. Investigators say that Timothy had undergone open heart surgery just 2 weeks earlier and was still recovering. During questioning, Sherry told deputies that he kept coming into the room and bothering her, so she grabbed a handgun and waited for him to return. When he didn't, authorities say that she went looking for him and shot him while he sat in the recliner. Sherry was arrested and charged with domestic violence related to murder. Detectives say that they have reviewed years of call logs, so they found no prior domestic violence or involving the couple. She currently is being held without bond, pending a hearing in Alabama under Alabama's Ennis law. So there you go. Some things to think about. What a crazy story there. Marriage tip: if your spouse says they need space, don't test the range. I'm just saying, there's some things to think about. So, one more real quick. Drivers in southeastern Pennsylvania got an unexpected wake-up call on Tuesday when part of Route 441 in Lancaster County was shut down over what police initially called a possible hazmat spill. Motorists in the East Dongle Township noticed a brutal smell alongside of near Marietta, where authorities temporarily closed the road during rush hour while hazmat crews investigated. Turns out that the dangerous substance was actually thousands of gallons of spilled fertilizer covering the road. Photos showed crews wearing protective gear, working around a slick smell mess and a tragic backup for hours. Police later reopened the highways and told drivers safe travels, which easily is to say when you're not driving through manure. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Let's go ahead and get into that main story because it's time to do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so some main story time as we are talking, as we are moving, as we are grooving, as we are, I guess, doing a little bit of everything inside of the multiverse of ours. Yes, I am totally not distracted. I am just looking at my stupid watch for a moment because for some reason somebody's deciding that this is the perfect time to start texting me. First thing in the morning, apparently. Okay, so let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because there is a time, regardless of what you're doing, it could be work, it could be professional, it could be anything related to a relationship, but there is a time in your lifetime that you sit back and you notice it's just time to go. Yeah, I've said that. It's just time to go. You've looked at everything around. You've contemplated about what's going on. And you go, yeah, it's just time. And listen, sometimes these justifications become extremely weird. You sit there and you go, but I've spent so much time doing X, Y, and Z. And this level of investment that I have put into it mentally, it just doesn't make sense to do that. And I look at it and we talk about it and we look at this real quick. And let's just be realistic for a moment. This is why sometimes we'll stay in long-term relationships that have not been working. This is the reason sometimes we'll stay in workplaces where it just doesn't make sense to stay. This is sometimes where we'll continue a subscription service. Yes, I will go to that finite level for a moment that we really don't need or hardly ever use. Other side that I'll reference, that gym subscription that you have, that monthly membership that you're not using, but you still pay for it because there is going to be that one day that you're going to go back. Yeah, that's still happening. That's still going on. So what are you thinking? What is the reason that you continue to go, yeah, I'm going to continue with this, even though you know that it's not good for you? And no, I'm not saying gym memberships are not good for you, but they could have an issue with your wallet, if you don't mind me saying that. And why do I say it that way? Well, sometimes if you're not using it and it's just an expense, probably not your best idea to keep it. But here's the thing. When you realize that these are portion of your relationships that you need to change, what would hold you back? What would hold you back from changing it? Because if it's the mental model aspect of it, maybe that's where the conversation starts today with this. And yes, sometimes people go, I'd rather stay with the devil I know than the devil I don't know. And I get that. That makes sense to me. And for years, there has been contemplation of just doing random things, and we have opted not to do them because we were not 100% sure what the hell was going to happen. And I get that. But when do you start looking back and going, okay, maybe it's time to jump the shark. Maybe it's time to move forward. Maybe it's time just to do something entirely different. I am just asking for a reason. And the reason that I ask these questions is because, hey, at the end of the day, the things that are going to hold you back mentally are the things that you haven't prepared yourself for. I always have heard this. Well, let me rephrase that because that's not exactly how this happened. I have heard for years this terminology that has stuck with me, and this terminology that has worked, and it's called unspectacular planning. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Sometimes people think that that's very doom and gloom, but I look at it from the standpoint that you have a strategy. For a period of time before I had heard of that concept, I remember listening to a gentleman that used to say all the time, don't get involved with anything that you cannot walk away from in 30 seconds. And I understood that too. That made sense to me. But here's the thing. If you use those two giant extremes, where are you going to end up? That's the question. So let's do this today. I want you to think about maybe your relationship, maybe your gym membership, maybe your subscription service, maybe even that whole thing about that work compliance issue that you've been having. Has it gotten to the point where this doesn't make sense anymore? Has it gotten to the point where you sit there and you debate, are you doing the right thing? Has it gotten to the point where you sit here and go, at the end of the day, am I doing the right thing? Because there is nothing worse than sitting around and questioning your decisions all the time. There is nothing worse than sitting there going, am I wasting my time? Like, listen, there are certain jobs that are out there. There are certain positions in life that I could not envision myself going through day in and day out because I just don't think that they would work for me. And I look at it sometimes, what kind of impact the things that we do have right now to us. Because I am sure there is stuff out there currently that you're like, no way, Jose, I would never want to do that. I would only want to do something entirely different if I had the opportunity to do so. So with that being said today, think about these things that you have going on and think about it that if you were to change everything, would this make the most logical sense to do? And if it is, what's holding you back?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that J. Allen sent you.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part
part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game.
With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On Radio Big.
I have to be honest, that was one of the worst music transitions I've done in a long time. Okay, so there you go. Here we are, 46 minutes past the top of the hour, talking a little bit about everything that's going on. Having a good time, that's for sure. I swear. So here you go. Let's talk about this, because that's what I do. I just like to yap, apparently. So, listen, this right here is called I Swear. It's by a band called Alt Bloom. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Some opciones for you right away. Always a good time, because I swear. So there you go. I swear. Yeah, there you go. You don't want to hear me singing, that's for sure. Okay, so thanks to Alt Bloom for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And I want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, all kinds of information readily available for you related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, once you get there, all kinds of info, it can change everything for you. I don't say that jokingly. I say that with very serious intonations. The reason behind it is because there's so much good information there that you never know where it's going to take you. Seriously. And you might sit there and go, well, this information is not exactly for me, and that's perfectly fine. But it is information that can change things for you. And I don't say that as a joke. I say that as serious business. So, with that being said, here's what we're going to do. I want you to go to the website, take a look around, take a look at the stuff that's there, TWLOHA.com. If you do not need the information, just look at it from the standpoint of how you can either get self-care or look at the information on how you can get involved or just read some of the stories. Just read some of the stories. That's it. TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue going down the path. I got this for you. I want to reference it because, to me, I think it's going to be so interesting. This is just my standpoint. I could be absolutely wrong. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie to you about this. I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm feeling. We're doing this event in Orlando. We're calling it Reality Shifts, taking place on July the 13th, 2026. So that's exactly 2 months from today. We're going to be renting out a movie theater. Not a fancy premium level movie theater with stadium seatings. This is going to be a movie theater where you can sit there. There's chairs, there's tables, and we're going to have an interaction and a conversation about things that are going on inside of the multiverse. We're going to be hanging out with Nick Weatherly talking about behavior-based safety. We'll be hanging out with Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. And then I will be there talking about Signal. Would love to see you there. All you have to do to find out more information is go to safetyfm.io or you can just scan the QR code that's right there on the screen. So there you go. Some things to do. So would love to see you there. Happening July the 13th, 2 months from today. 2 months from today. Would love to see you there. So there you go. Okay, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute. So let's do that right now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Hillary. Simon Sinek said, "Focus on long-term success, but be willing to make short-term adjustments to get there." Very well said. If you're driving north, but your destination is west, you need to turn to get where you're going. The sooner you turn, the better. If you wait too long, you need to turn around and drive south again just to get back where you were. So the sooner you respond, the sooner you can make adjustments to get back on track. If you miss your exit and you adjust at the next exit, that's completely different than missing your exit and then staying on the wrong road for 3 hours. I've actually worked with companies who know they're going the wrong way, but instead of turning around, they seem okay with going the wrong way. But then they act surprised when they never make it to their destination. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Radio Safety Show.
The family of a teen who died from overdose sued OpenAI, claiming ChatGPT fueled his drug use with risky advice.
Lawyers argue the AI chatbot gave harmful prompts that led to fentanyl-laced pills. The case spotlights tech dangers for youth seeking info online. OpenAI vows a strong defense. Kyle Norris reporting.
U.S. officials slapped fresh sanctions on firms and people aiding Iran's oil exports to China, including outfits in Hong Kong, UAE, and Oman.
These measures aim to choke Tehran's war funding as the Strait of Hormuz stays choked, spiking oil prices worldwide. 9 entities face frozen assets and U.S. trade bans. The action ramps pressure ahead of Trump's Xi talks. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A hantavirus outbreak grips parts of the U.S., with cases tied to rodent exposure raising alarms in affected communities.
Health officials tracked the rare virus spread by infected mice, urging cleanup of nests and homes. Symptoms hit fast with fever and breathing woes. No vaccine exists, but early care boosts survival odds. Kevin Sanders reporting.
In the Philippines, a top Duterte ally barricaded himself in Senate offices Monday after the ICC unsealed an arrest warrant for crimes against humanity in the drug war.
The ex-police chief, key to thousands of killings, faces charges over the brutal campaign. Law enforcers surrounded the building in a tense standoff. Rights groups hail the move as justice long overdue. Gary Beck reporting.
2 people fight for life Monday after a gunman in Cambridge, Massachusetts, fired wildly at cars on a bustling street, sparking chaos and fear.
Police hunted the shooter who fled after wounding victims in random attacks. Witnesses described panic as bullets shattered windows and tires. Authorities urged tips to aid the probe. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Authorities disrupted Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's campaign event with a bomb squad after spotting a suspicious object nearby.
The active threat halted his governor bid stop as experts swept the site. No device was found, but it rattled attendees and staff. Probes continue into possible sabotage. Liam White reporting.
A new CNN poll reveals that 76% of Americans view soaring prices as their top money worry, despite glimmers of hope for relief.
Costs for food, gas, and rent hit hard across the nation in recent months. Some families report slight easing in grocery bills from steady supply chains. Economists watch for Federal Reserve signals on rate cuts. Lawrence Keller reporting.
President Trump headed to Beijing Tuesday for a high-stakes summit with China's Xi Jinping amid rising tensions over the fragile Iran ceasefire and global trade frictions.
The meeting comes as Trump warns the truce with Iran hangs by a thread after rejecting Tehran's peace counteroffer as unacceptable. China, Iran's top oil buyer, plays a key role in talks while U.S. sanctions target oil shipments to Chinese firms. Advisors hint at possible new military moves.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On radio.
Okay, here we go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date. Let's take a look. Back in 1942, helicopter makes its first cross-country flight. Let's see, in 1966, Rolling Stones released Painted Black. In 1970s, Beatles movie Let It Be premieres. In 1992, Frank Stallone beats Geraldo Rivera in boxing on Howard Stern show. Let's see. In 2013, Dr. Joyce Brothers, famous psychologist, dies. And in 2019, actress Felicity Huffman pleads guilty for her part in the U.S. college administration or admissions scandal. So there you go. That all happened back on the dates that I am referencing. Let's see. Some birthdays going on today. Harvey Keitel turns 87. Stevie Wonder turns 76. Dennis Rodman turns 65. Stephen Colbert turns 62. Darius Rucker turns 58. And Robert Pattinson, he turns 40 today. Or should I say,
the Batman.
The Batman turns 40 today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that Trump's administration has a plan to escalate the war in Iran if necessary, as the Pentagon raised the war overall cost of the $29 billion in 9 weeks into the conflict. Also, tonight's Powerball jackpot is $69 million. Here's last night's Mega Ball number for $232 million, 17, 32, 35, 40, 47, and the Mega Ball was 17. So there you go. Also, President Trump's annual dental and medical evaluations are scheduled for May the 26th. At 79, Trump is the second oldest person to serve as president and was the oldest to be sworn in for his new term. Questions about his health and mental fitness that surfaced during his first administration have had intensified since he returned into the White House last year, amid reports and images that appear to show him falling asleep during public events, as well as makeup covering apparent bruises on his hands. So there you go. Also, a new report says that from a nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says that President Trump proposed Golden Dome missile defense system could cost $1.2 trillion over the next 20 years, far higher than the original $175 billion estimate previously floated by the administration. The futuristic defense plan would involve space-based weapons and missile interception technology designed to protect the U.S. foreign attacks. So there you go. Also, in some other news, Marty McCary is stepping down for the commissioner of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration just after 13 months on the job. The president confirming the departure yesterday. Marty had been leading the agency responsible for regulatory prescription drugs, vaccine, medicines, devices, and much of the nation's food safety systems. His exit comes months after reported internal tension and criticism of pharmaceutical companies, anti-abortion groups, and vaping lobbyists, and others tied to the administration. Reports say that one major sticking point was a flavored vape. The McCary reported a clash with the administration officials before eventually resigning. His tenure was marked by controversy surrounding the vaccine policy, drug approvals, and staff shakeup. The accusation of politics. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
You got some uptown mixed with some wildflower. 1, 2, 3 looks bad, some type of superpower. Here in the kitchen, they sharing drinks.